How do everybody? So we've got quite a bit of news coming in at the moment. Tensions in the UK do seem to be rising, and it is not very good news, especially after what's happened with those recent riots. We've had quite a horrific crime happening in South England, in Kent, where a man who appears to be an officer in the army has been stabbed multiple times. I've heard two different numbers, one being around about a dozen, 12 for those of you who don't know what a dozen is, and another number I heard was 70. But I'm going to err on the side of caution and probably say it's around 12. But, who cares when you've been stabbed more than once? It's potatoes at that point, isn't it? The man is in his 40s, which says to me that he is definitely senior staff. I mean, at the very least, I'd expect him to be a sergeant if he's still serving in the army in his 40s. But I would be leaning, if he wasn't commissioned, of being a warrant officer, or more than likely he's going to be a major or possibly a colonel, if I was to guess a rank. That doesn't really matter though. At the end of the day, this gentleman has been stabbed in the evening off duty. That would be to me. The man who stabbed him, he appears to be a man of African descent looking. That's not to say he wasn't born in the UK, but who knows. Rather large gentleman, and from the reports that I've seen, he had two knives, which he's attacked the soldier with. After the attack as well, he is alleged to have started licking the blades. I would assume to lick the blood off. I do think that they are going to try and brush it under the rug as mental illness. I don't think it is. I think this is just part of the fostering of hatred towards the UK and the West in general that we have been seeing over recent years. And I think this is just a culmination of somebody deciding, you know what, I hate Britain and I want to attack something which is a symbol of Britain, that being a uniformed soldier. I'm going to leave that story at that because there isn't really much more to say apart from the gentleman has been arrested very quickly as well. But other than that, there's nothing really to report on that at this moment in time, apart from it obviously being, at this point, spontaneous cultural enrichment of a serving soldier. Another story, which I think again emphasises the heightening of tensions, has been what is being described as an assault in Heathrow Airport. It appears to be that a pair of, I would guess, Muslim men, and I'm only guessing Muslim men because there was a woman in the video who's got sort of head garb on and that. She appears to be with these men, so I'm guessing that they are of the faith of Islam. I've been fighting in the airport over what I don't know. Now, in airports in the UK and probably elsewhere in the world, our police are armed, and they don't mess about because they can't afford to. So they've come over, and either one or both of those men have assaulted the police. One of the police officers was a female. She's been taken to hospital with a broken nose. This has resulted with one of the men getting tasered, and then the police officer, before going in to make the arrest, has then kicked the man in the head, and I believe also stamped on his head as well. Now, from what I've seen in the media, they are only showing what the police have done right at the end, which is the kicking. And they haven't given full context from what I've seen in many, many reports. And they're just trying to make out that the police have randomly tased this guy and then kicked him. Now, I can't 100% confirm that these men have assaulted the police. It's just a report that I have seen on that. But again, at this moment in time, because there are so many mixed reports coming out, it is hard to tell what is true and what's not. So we are going to have to wait to find out from that. That is going to cause riots. I'm telling you that now. Since that riot in Leeds where the bus was burnt, people have been out every night since then, and it isn't calming down. And this is just going to be pouring petrol all over that bonfire. And this is all within the first week of Labour getting into power as well. Let's not forget that. Labour have only just got into power. This is firmly on their watch. They can't blame anybody else now. Now people might turn around and say, well, this is all about the Tories. What they've done. Labour supported the Tories and everything that they did. For the last, since 2018 anyway, since they were trying to frustrate Brexit, the Labour supported the Tories on every single, pretty much, thing that they did in Parliament. So this is just as much Labour's responsibility of what's happening now. And it seems to have ramped up since Labour have come into power. And let's not forget that. And it probably is to do a lot of this bad behaviour with Labour emptying the prisons and saying that they're not going to deport people. And they're just going to start rubber stamping everybody, all the illegal immigrants' passport papers. You know, so we've now got people in this country who feel absolutely emboldened to behave like absolute savages. And I can't see this getting any better anytime soon in the future. I'm only skirting over the details of both of those stories now. I'm going to leave it at that. Still early days yet to get full details and to be able to give any more commentary other than that. If I find any more information out about those two stories, I will do a bit more of a deep dive on them. But as the information is still very fresh and they are ongoing investigations, unfortunately, there's not very much that we can say on either of those two stories. Other than I do feel that we are heading into uncharted territory at this moment in time. As the Chinese proverb goes, may you live in interesting times. And that is a curse, by the way, and not a gesture of goodwill. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. If you've found that insightful, useful, any of that good stuff, please do like, subscribe. Also, please do put a comment below. Love reading your comments, and I love replying back to them. Thank you, and goodbye.